This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. This is the one and only place where we bring you the latest in robotics, artificial intelligence, gadgets, and applications. All that you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world is being brought to you right here on Pulse 95. It is finally the weekend, Thursday fun day, right?
Yes, indeed, it is Thursday. I feel like this week was pretty long. I don't know about you guys, but Thursday, I'm happy it's Thursday. But you know what I'm happy about? The banning of misinformation, because YouTube is banning misinformation that the coronavirus vaccine will kill or be used to implant surveillance microchips. Now, we do know that people love conspiracy theories,
Yes.
and now the latest conspiracy theory is that the coronavirus vaccine will harm you or be planted for someone or a government to surveil you.
Yes, indeed. Instagram and Twitter have started out on this bandwagon of tracking and banning misinformation, but now YouTube is joining in as well. But right here in the UAE, we're talking about joining the 8-country space exploration force. This started out with sending and launching the UAE Hope probe to Mars, but now we're talking about exploring the rest of space, including the moon.
Yes, indeed. Now, we did talk about the Apple event yesterday and how about the new iPhone lineup, but Samsung came out and is pushing out its cheapest 5G mobile as Apple is set to release the new iPhones. So what we're seeing is a comeback. So Apple said, hey, listen, we're releasing our 5G phones. And Samsung's like, hey, you listen. I'm releasing a cheaper version of 5G phones.
Yes, indeed. The rivalry is real. But right here in Sharjah, we are celebrating going paperless because there is a new website that will allow you to basically do everything that has to do with your lease contracts completely online without using a single paper. What is this website? You're going to be knowing all about it in just a few moments.
And for our gadget of the day, we're talking about Apple and how they have announced a smaller HomePod Mini for just $99, so around 370 dirhams. I'm excited to talk about that one. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to tell you all what's happening right here in the tech world.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
We're talking about a space force, ladies and gentlemen, and how the UAE has joined an 8-country space exploration force. Now, it is called the Artemis program, which does include sending the first woman and next man to the surface of the moon in the year 2024.
Yes, indeed. Now, this is a great accomplishment because NASA's Artemis Accords have definitely been promoting very safe and responsible international space cooperation. Now, let's highlight the aspect of it being responsible because a lot of countries that have been trying to enter the space exploration industry have definitely been creating a lot more pollution in outer space than we think. So now the UAE is actually joining 7 signatory countries to ink this deal. Now, the signing ceremony was actually held yesterday and it was completely virtual. Now, the Artemis program is, as you mentioned, Hani, going to be aiming to send the first woman and next man to the surface of the moon by the year 2024. But this is also going to be advancing a lot of partnerships that the UAE is planning to have with other countries to have its very own robust presence on the surface of the moon.
Yes, Sonia, and the virtual event was actually hosted by NASA, and it was attended by Sara Al-Amiri, who is the Minister of State for Advanced Technology and Chair of the UAE Space Agency, and a lot of other heads of the other 8 countries. Now, the UAE is committed to the advancement of space exploration while they are ensuring the sustainability of space. Just like you said, Omnia, there is pollution in space, and this force is trying to be responsible and wants to be responsible. Now, the Accords do align with the UAE's long-term programs to explore outer space and collaborate internationally on better understanding our solar system. And we have seen this in the past couple of months or even a year and a half or 2 years now with the UAE Hope probe mission, with Hazal Mansouri going to the International Space Station. We're seeing that now the UAE is becoming one of those top leaders in the space industry.
Absolutely. And we can't forget that the UAE is actually a very young nation with a young space program. However, it is making big strides in space science and exploration. If we want to take a little bit of a look back, the UAE has launched several satellites to outer space. It has also sent the first astronaut to the International Space Station, and also it has been encouraging a lot of students and graduates to go ahead and participate in the field of space studies. But for those of you who are wondering what is the Artemis Eckards all about, it was actually launched back in May of this year, and it's basically a shared vision for different principles that the United Nations Outer Space Treaty has had for different countries to create a very safe and transparent environment that will help everyone explore space without necessarily harming it at the same time.
Yes, as someone who has lived in the UAE for a big part of his life and someone who calls it not my second home, but my first home, I'm very proud and excited to see what we do have in store and maybe what we're going to see in 2024. But let's go all the way to YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, because YouTube is banning misinformation that the coronavirus vaccine will kill or be used to implant surveillance microchips. Now, a new conspiracy theory has been coming out. We've seen a lot of conspiracy theories with the COVID-19 pandemic. And a new one has came out that's saying that, listen, the coronavirus vaccine will kill or be used to implement these surveillance chips. And YouTube is like, nope, this is misinformation and this is harmful information. And now they're tackling these claims and banning any content that is on that website.
Exactly. And the thing is, a lot of these conspiracy theories tend to start out small, but then they will basically get a lot bigger than people could potentially control. So these claims about the vaccine, a lot of them have been, assumptions that the vaccine will kill people, maybe cause a lot of medical issues, one of them being infertility. There were many conspiracy theories that microchips will actually be implemented in the people who receive this vaccine. Now, a lot of these conspiracy theories definitely came out of Bill Gates, or after Bill Gates came out and said that the coronavirus vaccine will basically need to be monitored. But that does not necessarily mean implanting microchips in the minds of people. If we should be worried about anything, it would have definitely be all about Elon Musk's Neuralink. But as far as of now, YouTube is definitely already removing certain misinformation about the coronavirus, and this includes claims such as the vaccine causing a lot of harms for the human body, but also claims that the virus does not even exist. The virus is very much well and alive.
Yes, indeed. And we've seen a lot of these conspiracy theorists start out on Facebook. And now there's a lot there saying that, listen, you can cure asthma with these scents. And unfortunately, a lot of people did pass away because they stopped using their medication and started using these scents. So what can we learn from this? Number one, that the coronavirus is real. Number two, that misinformation is harmful. Now, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, what I like to do in life is I like to learn from other people's mistakes.
True.
Now, we've seen a lot of people come out and say, well, the coronavirus is a hoax, blah, 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 blah. And then, unfortunately, these people get the COVID-19 and they pass away. So, obviously, the COVID-19 is real and it's working. And
but I do feel like social media platforms have definitely stepped up their game when it comes to fighting misinformation, especially in comparison to other diseases that have been widespread, and a lot of theories were out there, but no one was actually going after them and preventing them from spreading.
That you have a good point on that one, but I believe that because this one, how quick it is to transit from one person to another, and how it's just been the talk. It's a pandemic, so I mean, obviously we're going to see a lot of talk about. You're going to have yes sayers and no sayers. But what I liked about the most, I mean, I'm gonna criticize social media networks for a bit. Now, in the beginning, they didn't actually start banning these misinformation, not the conspiracy theories, but towards, let's say,
after being shared a couple of times, more than a couple of times, actually.
Let's say 4 or 5 months after it was called a pandemic, and a lot of countries went to lockdown. We've been seeing a lot of people going out and breaking these lockdown orders and not wearing masks. And unfortunately, a lot of people did get hurt because of that. So they're like, listen, we need to step up our game and ban these posts. But I want to ask the viewers and listeners, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you guys, what is the craziest conspiracy theory you've heard about the COVID-19 coronavirus? 4215 Durat Salat, or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio.
Let us know your thoughts. But coming up on Future Talk, we're talking about Samsung getting a little bit jealous from the iPhone 12 lineup as they push out their cheapest 5G phone yet. Keep Pulse95 locked. We'll be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse95.
The rivalry between Apple and Samsung is very similar to the rivalry between siblings. Whenever one releases something, the other brand wants to up its game. But this time, Samsung was actually planning to up its game when it comes to releasing 5G smartphones just a few hours before Apple launched its new lineup of iPhone 12 devices, because Samsung has officially rolled out the most affordable 5G smartphone yet.
Yes, and it's beating rivals Apple's expected release of its first 5G-enabled phone, iPhone. Now, we did talk about the iPhone event that did happen before yesterday. October 13th.
Yeah, but we were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about yesterday how it was October 13th, how they did, and we talked about it yesterday. And a lot of people were excited for the 5G iPhone as it is the first Apple phone to have it. But the Galaxy A42 5G is the latest in Samsung's electronics giant budget. And it's called the A series, and it will cost around $450.
Which is about 1,600 dirhams, I think.
Yes, and it's cheaper than the launch price of the Galaxy A51 5G that was unveiled last April. So what we're seeing from Samsung and Apple is that they want to make their products a little bit cheaper they want to make cheaper products,
budget conscious
products for people who can't afford the flagship phones. And we're seeing that with the iPhone Mini. We've seen that with the iPhone, I think it was the iPhone XR, the iPhone SE. But let's talk about this Galaxy phone for a little bit. Now, it does feature a 4-camera setup, which is a 48-megapixel lens main camera, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera for better landscape images, and macro and depth cameras with a 5-megapixel lens, which can capture details of close-up objects and create even a background blur effect around the object. Now, I'm excited to see what Samsung is going to do with this one.
I like the fact that a lot of these smartphone industries have been trying to create more budget-friendly phones. And the entire A series coming out of Samsung is basically budget conscious for all those who are looking to save a little bit of money but don't want to compensate with the quality of the phone that they're using. So what we've also been seeing is iPhone and Samsung, or Apple and Samsung, trying to make their camera quality much better. So in addition to all of the 4-camera setup that Hani just discussed, the iPhone is also going to be coming in with the phone itself is going to be coming in with a 20-megapixel front camera. So we're talking about an optimal quality of selfie cameras, but also a storage capacity that is going to be huge. So 4 gigabyte of RAM and internal space of 128 gigabyte that can also be extended to 1 terabyte, which is a lot more than what we've seen with Apple. Now, this is going to be a very light phone, so you're not going to be worried about it weighing too much, and it's also going to have a battery of about 5,000 milliampere hours. This new phone will be available in the UK starting from next month, so November 6th. However, the exact timing of when it's going to be launched in different parts around the world is still not been given.
Now, when you have such high detailed cameras, obviously the file size of these cameras, the picture size of the cameras will be a little bit higher. So when you have that 1 TB, it can be extended to 1 terabyte. So when you have that much space, you don't really care about how many pictures you're taking, or you don't care about the space because you have so much space. Now, we do know that Samsung is already active in the 5G smartphone industry, and it has sold more than 6.7 million Galaxy 5G phones globally in 2019 and did account for 53.9% of the 5G smartphone market worldwide by the end of November. So that is a big percentage. We're talking about a single company selling 53.9%. Let's just call it 54% of the 5G smartphones around the world.
Absolutely. But just like every other business, the smartphone industry, and especially Samsung, has definitely hit by a reduction because of the coronavirus pandemic, which inspired them to create the new A series that we are witnessing these past few months. Now, it is expected that these smartphones will definitely have a big audience, a lot of buyers will want to get it. But let us know, would you go ahead and get the new Samsung A series, specifically this phone that has the A42 5G, and it is one of the cheapest 5G smartphones that have come to life this month? Let us know your thoughts. Text in at 4215 do Itisalat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. But coming up, we're talking all about lease contracts going paperless right here in the heart of Sharjah.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Sharjah for a little bit and talk about how lease contracts are going paperless right here in Sharjah. Now, the municipality has announced that residents can complete process through its website, thus making everything paperless. Now, the Sharjah municipality did announce its decision to stop dealing with paper documents for registration and renewals of lease contracts, and residents can now process all kinds of lease contracts through their website.
Yes, indeed. Now, this decision does come as a part of the plan to create a digital transformation right here in Sharjah, but also in the rest of the Emirates. All of the services that you can or that you would need to continue and to complete your lease contracts will be available under its Sabiq digital project. Now, this is all to basically help reduce the time and effort that residents tend to take out of their day to get done with all the services that they need to basically finish up their lease contracts. This move will also help the municipality be able to finish up as many transactions as it can within one day. Since whenever everything is paperless, you don't have people going back and forth, grabbing this paper from this office, that paper from a different office, and then coming back to complete them all. It is all done digitally, so basically the process can be completed at a much faster pace.
And you don't have to worry about missing documents now, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to go all the way to the municipality and them saying, hey, listen, you forgot your passport paper. So now you can get everything done online. And something that I do like is that now everything is going to be stored in one place. You won't have to put your papers in a file, hide it somewhere in your suit.
Make sure you have them.
Make sure you have them. They're going to be somewhere safe, which is going to be online with the municipality. That way, anytime you need to pop it up, all you have to do is go to their website and open your account, and you're going to see everything that you need to have already there. And I like this a lot. I like this a lot because as someone who's been going through the municipality a couple of times, whether it's for renewing contracts, whether it's getting a new contract, or even if it's going for my electricity bill. Ever since, I think the electricity bill has been going paperless for quite a while,
People can just pay online.
Can pay online, and it's been so much easier. You don't have to go all the way to over there, and not only that, it's very time efficient. You don't have to go there, and because at this point in time, I believe that everything, all companies, all municipalities, all sectors should, all government entities should do something with online. Just pay online. If you have to pay for something, pay it online. And I believe now that with technology, anyone can have access to the internet.
Absolutely. And I feel like the coronavirus pandemic has definitely accelerated this change in trends. We've been seeing it before, but more than ever, especially during this pandemic, a lot of us have been depending on apps, on websites to complete some of our necessary day-to-day activities. And as you mentioned, Hani, from paying our electricity bill to even reporting an accident, it's all being done online through different applications and website. But if you want to know more about how you can basically finish up all of your lease contract details, all you need to do is head to the municipality's website, the Sharjah municipality. You'll be able to complete all the necessary procedure for renewal or even certification in an electronic form through that website. You don't need to go to any branch anymore, and you can finish it in just a click of a button.
And this is also good for the employees who work at these municipalities.
True.
Because it lets them focus on things that need more time and attention to, instead of just saying, hey, give me your paper, okay, the seal of approval, and you're good to go. Now it lets them focus on the things that they can do and be more productive in that workplace, which is very important. And we're seeing a lot how AI robots are helping us, and even just a simple online payment, how it even makes it makes it tidier and more organized, not only for the company or for the municipality, but for the consumer as well.
Absolutely. Let us know, what have you become or what have you started doing online, especially during this coronavirus pandemic? Has it been paying your electricity bill, or have you always done it online? And what do you think about being able to renew your lease or even create a new lease contract all through a single website right here in Sharjah? Share your thoughts with us at 4215 Door Salat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. The conversation on Future Talk is still ongoing, because coming up, we're talking all about Apple announcing a smaller HomePod Mini for just $99, which is equivalent to 370 dirhams. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Apple is making headlines once again, not with the iPhone 12 lineup, but with a new gadget that they are introducing to the market, the smaller HomePod Mini for 370 dirhams.
Yes, Apple has announced a new version of its HomePod smart speaker, the $99 HomePod Mini, which is a smaller version of the speaker that does shrink down the original model into a more compact size. But just like the full-size HomePod, the HomePod Mini still does feature a mesh fabric exterior in both black and white colors, along with a small display on the top to show the Siri waveform and volume controls. Now, this new model is more of a short spherical shape. However, instead of the oblong design of the original one, the HomePod Mini does feature one main driver, two passive radiators, and an acoustic waveguide on the bottom.
Let's talk a little bit about the different specifications and features that this HomePod Mini will bring to our homes. First off is Apple's promise to support third-party music services. So that means Amazon Music and other platforms that they are collaborating with. However, Spotify is not on that list, sadly. Apple is also releasing a new intercom feature in this speaker that is going to allow all of its customers with multiple HomePod devices in different rooms to be able to communicate throughout the house. So you'll basically have a HomePod collaboration happening if you have multiple HomePod devices in different rooms. And this will also allow intercom messages to appear on connected iPhones, iPads, and Apple Watches.
Yes, now what I'm kind of thinking about this now, let's say, for example, you're downstairs and your son, or let's say, for example, a family member is upstairs and you got to wake them up, right? And you have that HomePod Mini, or you have whatever phone is connected, devices connected, Apple device connected, and you just start screaming, "Wake up! Wake up!" I mean, that is annoying. I would throw that out the window. I can't do that. I hate when I'm sleeping and someone's screaming. But the original HomePod does cost, listen to this, $349 when it did first launch in 2018. So we're looking at a huge decrease in price. Now, $349, let's call it $350, and now it's being sold for $99, so let's say $100. So we're seeing a $250 price cut, which does make it far more expensive than any Amazon Echo or Google Home speakers. Now, that is the original HomePod that we're talking about. Now, that high price, which was combined with the Apple-only limitations of the original one, which only worked with Apple Music, which is a problem that Apple is now only fixing with iOS 14, did make it a tough item to sell, especially when you did compare it to cheaper and more capable Google and Amazon alternatives. Now, we've been seeing Apple kind of have this problem a lot, especially when it does come with that third-party apps.
Yeah, we've seen it with email apps and different ones.
Especially when it does come to Spotify. Now, Spotify has had a problem with Apple, especially because you can't even pay for your Spotify subscription through your iPhone. You have to go to their website and pay for it, which does make it a little bit harder. And a couple of days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago, finally, Spotify did have use of the widgets on iOS 14. Apple didn't give them that approval yet because Apple Music and Spotify are big rivals.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's kind of the hard selling point when it does come to Apple. Apple, they're very hard-headed when it comes to their products, and they want to have everything built in-house. Now, we see it as a kind of a trend. We saw it with the Intel processors. Like, listen, we don't want any more Intel processors. We're going to make them all right here in-house from Apple on our laptops, computers, whatever device we need. No more Intel processors.
Absolutely. So from chips to even applications, Apple is definitely very persistent to make all of its customers use its very own products. But if you are an iPhone user, if you have an Apple Watch, if you have the MacBook, this HomePod Mini might just be the ultimate speaker for you because it integrates into that ecosystem very smoothly. It will allow you to basically use your iPhone even if it's not physically in your hand, so you can have hands-off music, be able to answer calls, deliver personalized listening suggestions, and even play around with your Apple TV. So you can go ahead and raise the sound of your TV, stop the music if you have any playing in the background, and it is coming at a much affordable price in comparison to the original HomePod. But another amazing feature about it is the way it integrates with Siri, because the HomePod Mini will give you a much personalized Siri. She can identify who is speaking. She can even tailor the music and podcast suggestions that she gives you based on who she is speaking to. So if she's speaking to a mother, she might suggest a few podcasts that are about childcare, innovating yourself, helping out with managing your busy timeline. But also, it's going to give you a very quick personal update on what is up on your day. So it will go through your calendar and basically give you a quick roundup of everything that you have to get done at the beginning of your day.
And also, we're saying that soon enough, ladies and gentlemen, you might even be able to book an appointment for the barber or salon or whatever thing you do through these HomePods. Now, pre-orders do start on November the 6th, and shipping does begin on November 16th. So you do have time to save a couple of dirhams and buy it if you're into it. Now, I want to go back and talk about the design. I love Apple's design on everything because they're very simple. There are no tacky things, white and black. And this goes for all their products. There's the phones, the tablets, the computers, and that is their number one selling point for me, Hani, as a person. And I want to ask your guys' opinions if you've ever heard of the HomePod, and if you would get the HomePod Mini. 4215 Durat Salat, and go to our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. But this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important Saturday. And why is that, Omnia?
Because Saturday Vibes is on with Big Hass from 6 to 7 p.m. This is the second show, so you're still going to get a little bit of a feel of what it's like to basically be able to showcase your talents on a talent show, but also get a chance to win some cash. So make sure you tune in from 6 to 7 p.m. Big prizes are up for grabs, and you're also going to be able to showcase your talent, whether it was singing, acting, anything, even playing a musical
voiceovers,
instrument.
Anything. So do tune in on Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. with Big House from Yellow Home. The Saturday Vibe, ladies and gentlemen, is the new hit. You got to tune in. But Future Talk is signing off, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the weekend.
It is the weekend, and we want to wish you a beautiful and blessed weekend. Please stay safe. Keep wearing your precautionary measures, whether it was face masks or even gloves, sanitizing your hands. But we will be leaving you in the safe hands of Aisha Al-Mazmi with the Afternoon Karak. It is the one and only place where you can get the latest on what is happening in the entertainment industry, from shows to movies. She will definitely keep you entertained.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.